Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Rad's Research Room, and today I'll talk a little bit about what is research and whether it is the right career choice for you. Don't worry, you're not alone in this. I've been there too. Stay tuned to the end of this video and I will help you make this decision, and I will share my personal journey and tell you how I decided to become a researcher. Many students and professionals as well grapple with the same decision as you. Let me give you some examples for this. For example, say professionals like doctors who already have an MBBS or an MD are treating patients, but they are interested in knowing or learning more about the science behind the treatments and the medicines that they prescribe for their patients. For example, they would like to learn how the drug formulations are made and what is the underlying mechanism or the fundamental science that goes into it, or they would want to make some contributions to the new formulations and help cure some diseases, life-threatening diseases such as cancer. Another example is students, undergraduates or graduates who take up jobs after their bachelor's or master's degree. For example, they take up teaching positions or lab technician positions or R&D positions, research assistant in pharma labs, etc. Some even do a bachelor of education. But few years later, these professionals and people who take up jobs realize that they are not growing in their career, they are not progressing. Their juniors who joined after them have been promoted to higher positions, better paid positions, and while their career has become stagnant. So what they have to do is get a master's degree and then enroll for a PhD program. Now, if you already have a master's degree and you had joined a job, you can take a break or you can stall and you can join a PhD program. But if you do not have a master's, you first have to do a master's degree and then take up a PhD program. Now, some institutes and places do have integrated programs where you can join in for master's and give a candidature exam and go on for PhD. And if you would like to know more about that, I can make a separate video. Please comment in the comment box saying integrated program or integrated PhD, and I will make a new video for that. Let me tell you an instance here. One of my friends, or I would say our batchmates, he completed his bachelor in microbiology with us and then moved on to take a technician position in a pathology lab. He was well settled in life, but a few years later he realized that his career was getting stagnant. There was no career growth, there was no salary growth, and the reason was he did not have a master's or a PhD program. Now imagine this kind of scenario. What you have to do is you have to first enroll into a master's program, then go into a PhD program. So that's what he did. But now you are well settled in life, you do not want to let go of your job. And academic environment is quite stringent. There are no concessions, there are no shortcuts. If you have to go stepwise, you have to go stepwise. You already have a bachelor's, but now one or he must complete a master's program and then enroll into a PhD program. Now we all know that PhD usually takes 4 to 5 years to complete if you are lucky and you have that dedication and commitment. You need to have an advanced degree to advance your growth, to advance your career. This advanced degree is even more important than your seniority. So he had to enroll in a master's program which took 2 years, and then he had to enroll in a part-time PhD program so that he could keep his job. Now you already know that PhD usually takes 4 to 5 years if you are lucky and if you are a full-time committed student. So imagine how much duration would be inflated if it is a part-time program. And while you're studying, your promotion, your career is still stalled for several years, which may be beyond 4, 5 or even 6 or 7 years. So how will you decide while you're still studying in your bachelor's or master's whether research or a PhD program is the right career choice for you? To make this decision, you need to ask yourself whether you have these 3 important qualities. 1. Curiosity. Research is not about just experiments or analyzing loads and loads of data. It is more about asking the right questions and finding the answers to those questions. Second quality is perseverance. You have to develop a no quitting attitude. Not every piece of data is useful. Every experiment would need to be repeated multiple times. Every problem will need to be approached from multiple angles. Every failed experiment will teach you what tweaks to implement in the next experiment. This cycle will continue multiple times till you optimize something to get the desired outcomes. Success is a delayed gift. Third and the most important quality is patience. Please be aware that research is an extremely demanding job, a career if you want it to be. It is not a 9 to 5 thing. Now here some of you may tell me that, hey Radhika, no job today is 9 to 5. All fields are extremely demanding. All jobs are beyond the 9 to 5 limitations. And we are even sometimes working weekends, prioritizing work over family. But let me tell you here that research becomes a way of life. You are always thinking about what is happening in the lab, what is your next plan, even when you are not working, when you are outside the lab. Specifically when you're optimizing something, your brain wheels are always churning, whether you want it or not, intentionally or unintentionally, your head is always spinning. Now you say that, yes, I have all these three qualities, but you still have that nagging question at the back of your head. Is research still the right career choice for me? Am I good at it? Don't worry. I will tell you how to make that decision. Let's look at the 5 main components that any research field demands. The first and foremost is commitment. Research demands long hours. It also demands a lot of mental and emotional investments. You need to know your limitations, your capabilities, whether you have that drive to invest yourself completely onto this journey. You need to know where you will stop, where you need to take breaks, avoid your burnouts, know your limitations, and still stay focused at every point during this journey. So you need to ask yourself whether you have that commitment, whether you're ready to take on that roller coaster ride. Second is you have to embrace challenges and uncertainty. As I said, that patience is the virtue when it comes to a research career. Failures are a major part or a significant part of the journey. Ask yourself whether you're ready for the setbacks and still not give up, whether you have the no quit attitude, whether you can stay motivated despite the slow progress. You need to consider your long-term goals, whether you are aiming for an academic position, a tenure track professor position, or you're interested in industry research, or you would like to go into policy development. In either of these cases, you might need a PhD degree, or you would need a PhD degree, especially for a tenure track position, and you will also need some postdoctoral experience. So think about what lifestyle you envision for yourself and whether your career goals align with the research program that you might be aiming for. Now, if your answer to the above 2 questions is yes, then let's go to the third thing, that is passion and curiosity. Ask yourself which field you're most passionate about, a topic that you want to delve deeper into. You are excited about discovering something new into it, learning something new, or contributing knowledge in the field. Which is that topic? Because let me tell you, this excitement and passion is going to be your fuel on your research journey. And this excitement and passion is also a part of your perseverance that will drive you towards your goals. Now, if that also you have answered yes, that you are very curious and passionate about any topic, say topic X, you need to evaluate your skills. To build a research career in any field, you will need analytical skill and critical thinking abilities. So ask yourself whether you are meticulous while designing and conducting experiments. Are you equally meticulous while presenting your data in manuscripts or in any academic conferences? Ask yourself whether you can interpret data and draw logical conclusions of them. If not, don't worry. We will go through the 5th component, and that will help you decide and navigate this pathway. The 5th element is seeking mentorship and guidance. Talk to your seniors, peers about what career they chose. If it is a research career, how they overcome the challenges that they might have faced. Talk to your mentors and advisors who know you well. Ask them openly to describe your capabilities, your positive qualities, and even your negatives. And do not be discouraged when they point out your negative characteristics. Take them as an indicator and use them to improve yourself. I'll make a separate video on how to choose your mentor. So please make a comment in the comment box how to choose mentor or just mentor, and I will make a separate video. Gain as much practical knowledge as you can. Now when we are students, you and me all alike, whether you're in bachelor's, master's, or even further, we are like sponges. We absorb knowledge from wherever we can, and we tend to retain a lot of knowledge. So ask for any internships in all your vacations, holidays, whenever you can. Do not worry if they are unpaid, it's fine. If you're already in a PhD program, ask for lab rotations, at least a couple of them before you decide on a particular lab, a particular topic, a particular mentor. Take up project assistantships or any other kind of these initial, beginner level positions wherever practical experience is offered. This will help you get acquainted with the lab way, the way of life in a lab. Let me tell you, my most beneficial position was an unpaid internship which I worked for almost 2 years, and it was the most educative and learning experience for me, which laid the foundation for my research career. I even managed to get a couple of publications out of it. Isn't that cherry on the cake? Work on all summer projects that you can get your hands on. Anything that gives you a practical experience in a lab, in a hospital path lab, or any instrumentation lab, anything that you can do. It will help you develop your analytical abilities, your critical thinking, your logical conclusion drawing out of data abilities, all of these things which are the most important skill set required in a lab. So if you find joy in discovery and are very resilient or tenacious by nature, then yes, research is the right career choice for you. You just have to have commitment and the drive. So commit to yourself and you can make the decision easily. As promised, I'll tell you how I made my decision to be a researcher. So as I said, I was working as an unpaid intern at the start of my career with a PhD student who was my senior, and I worked with him on this project. So he was on the verge of completing his program and they had submitted a manuscript for publication. And it came back with reviewers' comments who asked us to show the effect of nucleotide binding on the proteins across 2 species. Now we didn't have time to do some fancy ass experiments. So we sat down and decided that we will do a simple proteolysis using electrophoresis and Western blotting. Now since I had already mastered all the lab techniques and protocols while working with him, we designed the simple Western blot and I started the experiment right on the same day in the afternoon. Before I left the lab, I stayed late, I finished up everything and I set the gel for Western blotting for transfer. Now, while I was going home, all through my journey, which was about 1.5 hours from the lab to my home, I was thinking about what would be the pattern of proteolytic enzyme digestion. I was just so curious to know that I hardly slept a wink. And next day, I was super early in the lab, much earlier than I usually am. And well, it still took me the whole day to finish the Western blotting, to develop with primary, secondary antibodies, etc. and everything. But by the end of the day, when we were looking at the data, it was such an exhilarating experience because the pattern was exactly as we had envisioned it. Our hypothesis was correct. And yes, of course, we repeated the experiment multiple times to make sure what we are seeing was correct, and we set up all the necessary controls, etc. We did everything that an experiment should be conducted, the way it should be conducted correctly. But that particular first blot itself was good enough, and that is the one which is already in my manuscript, and I can share the link in the description box. If you are interested, please go through it. But that is when I decided that yes, I want to do this for a career. And definitely having Dr. or doctor ahead of your name is super enticing. So, all I want to say is, guys, take your time, reflect on yourself before you make any career decision, the choice, and make sure that it aligns and resonates with your career goals. And remember, if it is research, then Radhika's research room is right here to help you out, to help you navigate your journey. Do not fret, even if it is any other discipline other than biology or life sciences or anything. The path of research is same for everyone. So stay tuned for my next video on how to choose your mentor who's right for your research journey. And do share, like, and subscribe, and press the bell icon for notifications. Ciao!